and I love seeing your comments come through. So many of y'all are thankful for the opportunity in your team and the relationships in the community that having each other really provides. So there is nothing quite like it. It has changed my life. So I'm going to share my screen. This is normally Team Fit Revival's huddle call, so y'all are going to get a little bit of that in the beginning. But I condensed it quite a bit so that those of y'all that are from outside Team Fit Revival, then you won't be too bored. But I wanted to make sure that we had our save the date here, which basically lines out the month of September. So for many of you, I'm sure it looks very much the same, but September 4th for us is a great day to start a free group. It's Labor Day, so we will have no team call. And September 5th will be our new coach training business starter academy that will kick off. So that's on a Tuesday. Usually we do that on a Monday, but since it's Labor Day, we'll start on Tuesday. That's also the day that Sagi's Week of Hard Labor starts. So I'm excited about those new workouts. I hope you are too. I intend to take full advantage of those and work in the performance line with that. And I know there's an eating plan coming with it. So if you haven't checked that out, then definitely do that. I always thought that name was super interesting, especially for us women. I know they're playing off of Labor Day, but when it says hard labor, I was like, man, that's a tough title for us women, because it just makes me think of like having a baby. So September 11th, that is a great day to start a challenge group for our team. We're going to have a team call that night. September 18th, we'll have our big team call, so we'll all be back together again. Everybody on this call is invited to that. And then September 23rd and 24th, if you're not registered for a Super Saturday or a Super Sunday, get yourself to an event somewhere close by where you live. They're all across the country. It's a great opportunity. So many of you said that community is what you are thankful for, and I just urge you to go and get face-to-face with other coaches, whether they're on your team or not. I know that I went to an event, this was back when I just started my business, and it literally changed the direction of my entire business from that point forward. I was not good at starting conversations with people. I'm an introvert. Many of you that know me, you know that about me. But this particular event that I went to, it was Tommy Migrant, and it was in Dallas, and it was still kind of small at that time, but they talked about this 5-step invitation process, and I was like, that's a system, and I can do that. And so from that point forward, I rocked that 5-step invitation process, and my business was changed, and my life was changed as a result. So you never know when you're going to learn something that's going to have a huge impact on you and your business. So get there. September 25th through 28th for our team, that's going to be our What is Coaching week, where we're really helping other people understand what we do as coaches. So that is September at a glance. I'm sure there'll be more details coming, but our word this year, and I know this word has also kind of cross-team some references there, because I know our shirts at Summit all said fearless, right? So I think we can all borrow this word for tonight, but a couple of other words that have been really just swimming around in my head that I think have a lot to do with being fearless is the word vision and the word division. And this is just something that has been on my heart, so I'm going to share it, whether it has anything to do with what we're talking about tonight. But to me, when you have a strong vision for your challenge group and who you're helping and what you're doing and why you're a coach, when you have a strong vision, then there is no fear, right? And so I looked up the word, and vision, the word vision means that you see it clearly. You can see things in the future, like you know what you want to see happen. That's a vision that you have, either for your team, for your business, for your family, for yourself. Division is like the opposite, right? So it means two, it means double. that prefix there, DI, means double vision. And so I was like, wow, that's super powerful, because I think a lot of times we get double vision in our business where we're like, we do the whole comparison thing, or we think, like on Facebook, it's just really hard, right? Not to get distracted. Or maybe we start reinventing the wheel instead of just maintaining work and the things that help us move our business forward. We start doing those things that are good, maybe like business, what am I trying to say here? Business related, but not business drivers, right? And so when we have this double vision where we're not laser focused on our vision, then things get muddy and things get chaotic, right? And so tonight, my hope and my prayer for us is that we can leave this call with a strong vision together, that we know, and let me mute real quick. Sorry, I was hearing somebody typing. So I want us to leave this call. My goal for this call tonight is that you leave with a fire in your belly to go out and do what it is that you set out to do when you signed up to be a coach. That we together as a whole, and I don't care what team you're on, we are all one team. I could say we are Team Beachbody. We are, but all together, we all, like, whether you realize it or not, your success and my success are all connected in one way, shape, or form. When you get better, we all get better. And so I think a lot of times that division happens when someone's over here doing one thing and someone's over here doing another thing. We all want the same result, but it's like we start working like this together or like this. And so, again, my goal for tonight is that we leave this call unified, okay? And that we are unified in our vision. I titled this call, No Customer Left Behind. So I used to be a teacher. And if you're in education, then you have heard of that law. I don't think it's still in place, but I could be wrong. I've been out of the classroom for a while. But it was no child left behind. And so the way that that impacted me in my classroom was that literally failure for any child was not an option. And so when, like, I taught 5th grade, so we had 3 state tests that the kids had to take, which is a lot, right? It's a lot. It's a lot of accountability. It's a lot of stress on them, and it was a lot of stress on me. If even one child failed one part of the exam, then it was my job as that teacher to meet with that child one-on-one, like countless times after school, not every day, but multiple times a week, until they were able to be successful and pass that test. And so that's my thinking. That's why I named this No Customer Left Behind. So instead of no child left behind, it's no customer left behind. And I think that sometimes I know I've gotten tunnel vision, I feel like lately, and thinking that, maybe like just challenge pack after challenge pack after challenge pack is the only way to go. And I just want to open our eyes here as far as helping people take next steps, no matter how small or how big those steps might be. And so I hope that makes sense, because next steps, whether they are small or big, are powerful. Because when somebody takes a next step, guess what happens? It makes room for somebody else to take their next step. When a mom takes her next step and she starts taking care of herself, it makes room for a husband or a child or a sister or a mother to take their next step, because they're influenced by that person's decisions. And so I think our job as coaches is simply to help others take next steps. And if we can just really focus in on that, I think so many other things will take care of themselves. And everything I say on this call really all boils down to this right here. If you think about like your story and your journey, You didn't know how it was all going to play out, right? But you took next steps. You said, okay, I'll do that workout. Or, okay, I'm going to take a step as a coach. But all of those things were written one sentence at a time. And so we have to be able to give other people permission to move at their pace and to do the same and to really love people where they're at. And I think the way we do all of this, y'all, is to offer more than one option to get started. So the challenge pack always remains like the best option, right? And I'm going to talk about this in more detail as we go through the call. So that doesn't change. And I want to just say here too, this business, this system, none of it is broken. I read a quote, and I'm going to read it at the end of this call, but it talks about, I'll read the short one right now. But it says, continually question and challenge your recipe, but change it rarely. And that's in Great by Choice by Jim Collins. And I think our recipe works. I know that it works when done consistently with discipline, right? It works. But sometimes we need to make an adjustment. We need to make a small tweak that will, in my opinion, I really do believe that if this is not something you're currently doing, it will have a big impact on your business. And so I always have a focus for our team. And so, we really go over that on our huddle calls. And so our September focus are these three things. And really, it's the heartbeat of your business. And so it really shouldn't just be a September focus. It's really what our focus should be. And I think it's going to be a little bit of a paradigm shift for us as we start talking more about volume. And I'm going to do just some teaching on that in a little bit so you guys understand the differences in the different types of volume. But number 1 says become a 500 PV coach. Number 2 says get to Emerald. And if you're already Emerald, we want you to not stay there, but to continue to do that and to grow your tribe and to teach others to do the same. So once you have done 1 and 2, then number 3 is your next step. So notice we all have next steps, right? We're all at a different place, whether you are a brand new coach or you've been at this for a while. We're all at a different place. So everybody's next step is going to look a little different. But I'm going to help you hopefully define what that needs to be. So your invite process and the Success Club benchmarks, all of that remains the same. That is not changed. My hope for you is that you seek to find those 3 people who are really ready to take that leap, that in the process, you're going to find a whole bunch of other people that maybe would have been a no beforehand, but instead of just settling on no, if we can give them some other options and really get to the heart of the problem that we need to solve for that person, we can still help them take a next step. Like, what if all they can afford is $20? And I know that's not ideal, right? We want that person to have all of it. We want them to have the fitness. We want them to have the nutrition. We want them to have the support, because we know absolutely, without a doubt, that is where the results come. That is where the impact truly happens. But what if they're not ready to take that giant leap? What if the very small step, maybe you just help them buy a Fix8 cookbook, right? And then the next month, maybe they're willing to invest in portion fixed containers. And maybe the next month after that, they're willing to take a step with Shakeology. And then the month after that, they're willing to do all access. That's okay, right? That's okay. And so anyways, I hope this has been like a light bulb moment for me, because I want to be very transparent here and just say, I've had this tunnel vision, and I've realized that if our vision is really no customer left behind, and if we really want to help as many people as possible take next steps, then this has to be the approach instead of just all or nothing. So you can focus on in your invite process, and I'm not going to talk about that on this call because that's a whole other set of training. But when you're inviting, think about what problem can you solve for that person. And I'm going to switch my screen a little bit here. But I borrowed this. This is not something that I wrote, but I can share it with everybody. Your leaders probably have this too. It was on the round table, you guys, if you didn't see it. But think about all of the products that we have that can solve a problem for somebody, whether it's weight loss, whether it's gut problems, whether they are a performance athlete and their needs are different, whether it's someone who hates to work out or hates vegetables, somebody whose kids hate vegetables, a mom who's struggling with healthy snacks, kids that play sports, all kinds of other things, right? There's the Derm Exclusive line that helps improve your skin and reverses aging. How many of y'all have tried the Derm Exclusive line? When I started thinking about this, y'all, I was like, I'm using a lot of these products, but I'm not talking about them. I'm not sharing it. I don't know why. I should be, but I use that Derm Exclusive face wash and night cream every single night, and I love it. I use Energize every single day for my workout. I look forward to it. I love that stuff, but I hardly ever share about that. And so those are the things that for me, I know need to change. People struggling with anxiety or depression, someone that, there's just all kinds of things here, okay? So I want us to start thinking about being solution-oriented in your business, asking enough questions so that you know how to help that person. And even if they're not ready or willing or able to purchase a challenge pack, guaranteed we have something to help them. And if you ever don't know how to respond to somebody, if you feel like you don't know, like you're in a conversation with somebody and you don't know what to say next, when in doubt, my best tip is to ask more questions. If you don't know how to respond, a lot of times it's because you haven't dug deep enough with that person yet, okay? When the answer is no, so a lot of times we go through the whole invite process. We've done our best job to get to know them and their needs and so forth. Most likely you recommended the All Access Challenge Pack because a lot of times that is the best option. But when the answer is no, for whatever reason, what if you offered them the opportunity to explore another option? This is something that you could say. I've got to move my screen so I can read it. I totally understand. There are definitely good, better, and best options. I shared the best option with you already, but are you open to hearing about a less expensive, because price is usually what we hear, right? Less expensive way to get started, minus a few of the tools I mentioned with the All Access Challenge Pack. I know you're ready to blank, and it's my goal to help you do that, but I feel confident that we can find a way for you to get started now. Take a next step now. You could even ask them this question right here. You don't have to, again, edit this to your liking, but you might even ask them what their budget is that they're trying to work within. I just feel like if we're focused on helping people take next steps, then you're building that trust with somebody. Because honestly, if the challenge pack is like the only way or the highway, then what's going to happen is even if that person could only spend $20 or $50 or $100 or whatever it is, then they're going to go somewhere else and they're going to find somebody else to trust and they're going to spend whatever it was with somebody else. So why in the world would we be okay with that? And so I just think that instead of letting the answer be, sometimes the answer is just no. So no matter what you can always put them in your free group, right? I have a free community, so if we get to the end of everything and it's still no, then I've asked them if they would like to be added to that. But I put this chart together so just to kind of help you and walk you through what it would look like as far as a good, better, best scenario. To me, the best solution is going to be one of our challenge packs, either all access or the Kickstart that includes the 3-day refresh. The better solution, better than not taking any step, would be Shakeology or Daily Sunshine or Performance Stack. Because workouts, I feel like people can find things to do and move their body. But nutrition is so critical, right? It's so much easier to get that 30 minutes of your workout done than it is to eat right for the rest of the day. So if you can put something nutritionally in their hands, like Shakeology, it can be a game changer for them. So if they're not ready to do all access, then maybe offer one of these things here that would help them do something really simple, replace a meal a day with Shakeology, get moving 30 minutes a day, and then let's take next steps from there. If they're not ready to do that, then move on to one of these things under good solutions. And there are a lot more than just what I have listed here. So if it's something else in our lineup, it is totally fine. But maybe they're just wanting to get started with the workouts at this point. You can set them up there. Maybe they're not willing to commit to a 30-day group or longer group. So have them start with a 3-day refresh. It will cost them $70 to get started. They'll get a taste of Shakeology because it's included, and they're going to see great results in those 3 days. Or set them up with Portion Fix. Those are great tools to help people truly get started and take a step. And then your job then is to retain that customer, to continue to build trust and to walk with them on their journey. And that comes to my next slide. So we are here to help people change their lives, not their month. And I let people know that. So when I'm talking to people, I say, look, my goal here is not just to help you get a temporary fix. I know you have big goals, whether their goal is weight loss or something completely different. My goal for you is that you will literally change your life with the transformation that is in front of you. My goal is not to simply help you do something for 30 days and say, okay, I'm done. And so I think we have to stay in that mindset, right? Our goal is not just to help people for 30 days, to drink a shake for 30 days. Our goal is not, that's not it, right? I'm in it for the long haul. I want to see people completely changed, right? When you change a mom, you change a family. That's significant. That's how you make an impact. And so the other thing I think too is that we get so focused on the points sometimes that we forget to take care of what and who is in front of us. And so you have to make sure that those people that have trusted you with their next step, that you are stewarding that well and that you are continuing to be a coach to them. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Nobody is. I'm not. Surely not. But they know when you care and they know when you're there for them. And I think trust takes time. And so we're getting into now. A lot of what I've talked about so far is more the vision aspect of things, and is the why behind why we're talking about this tonight. You've seen me talk about this 500 PV coach. So I want to paint a picture here of what a 500 PV coach is and does. So a 500 PV coach lives those 4 battles consistently. They've learned to invite, they've learned to ask questions and be interested in other people and their needs, and connecting them with a solution. They know that formula for success is exercise, nutrition, and support. Maybe somebody's not ready, again, to take the leap on all 3, but maybe you can help them with one of those things, right? And then as you gain trust and help them, then you're going to be able to help them with 2 or 3 of those things. The 500 PV coach nurtures their contacts and customers. Notice this says contacts, because we're not just focused on our customers, we're also focused on like our list, our contacts, the people we're building relationships with. That's super important. And I think if you don't have a free group, I know different people do it different ways. I hadn't done one in a long time, and I've picked them up over the last few months. And you know what? I was a little nervous about it, but it totally blessed me, y'all. Like these women in this free group, they are amazing. And so every time I get done with one of those groups, I'm like, man, that was awesome. And so it just feeds my soul. And so I think when we nurture those contacts and customers, it fills us up. Uh-oh, hang on a minute. Okay. It fills you up as a coach, right? And then a 500 PV coach is product, team, and company confident. It's something that oozes out of you. It's changed your life, and you can't help but share it with other people. It is too good to keep to yourself. So I'm going to talk about volume now, and I know like it can be super boring, but if you'll just hang with me, I promise. I just feel like we need to understand this a little more clearly, because it took me a long time to really truly understand some of this. So I know that when you go to your Coach Online office and you look at all these numbers, like for me, for the longest, it was just like, I don't even know what all that is. So I'm gonna hopefully help you clarify that. PV is personal volume. So personal volume is your own purchases plus anything any customer has purchased from you in the last 30 days. So if you notice, if you go to your Coach Online office and you go to your sponsorship drill down, you can see any coaches on your team and all of this information that I have down below here in the gray. And you probably have seen these categories here. So projected PV for this person is 555. Their projected customer PV is 465. It's less. The reason it's less is because it's subtracting the 90 PV for her Shakeology, right? So because customer volume is just the volume from what people have bought from you. So your personal volume includes your purchases plus that customer volume. That's the difference, okay? If we go over here, it talks about Success Club, prior month, and current month. And then beyond that, you see week 1, current week 1, 2, 3, 4, and it actually even has 5, right? So your projected customer PV and your projected PV only add up weeks 1 through 4. But your active status is weeks 1 through 5. So I know that's super confusing, but that's the way it is. So your team volume is generated by the sales of the coaches, and this is where becoming Emerald is very important. And if you guys are asking questions in the chat, which y'all can answer it for each other, but just know I'll come back to all of that and hopefully get your questions answered at the end here. But team volume is generated by the sales of the coaches in the left and right legs of your entire downline, regardless of depth. I don't know if you guys know how awesome this is, but most companies limit the depth in which you are able to earn team volume. So a lot of companies might only let you go 3 levels deep, and you just earn team volume off of those 3 levels. With Beachbody, it goes on forever. So you earn team volume off of however many layers down that it goes. So a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, mainly with challenge packs, you'll notice that PV and TV is different. This, from what I've been told, is because there is a huge discount on challenge packs. The commission is greater on challenge packs. So that is why there's a difference there, and that's why there's a discrepancy, because they had to account for that somewhere. So there is a big difference between the PV and the TV in the challenge packs. But if you'll notice, I've listed out some other things here just so that you can see where like your commission and the volume lies. But like for an all access challenge pack, or not challenge pack, just regular all access, you're going to get paid $40 and the PV and TV is the same, $38. On the all access challenge pack though, you're going to get paid $50. The PV is $135. That counts towards your active status, but that 45 TV is what contributes to your team volume. So as a team, we get 45 TV for one of those ginormous challenge packs. In month 2, when you retain that customer, then there's 90 PV and TV. So you can see, like, even from a business perspective, how important it is to retain the customer and continue to help them take next steps. In addition to that, like, look at 21 Day Fix base kit. The commission's not that great. It's a $60 product, but they're getting a workout. They're getting lots of great stuff there, included in that kit with the portion fix and all of that. The PV is $45, and the TV is $45, the exact same as an all access challenge pack. So I just wanted to open your eyes a little bit here. Energize, the PV and TV is $38. So my question is, why? Like, I know for myself, I've just had this big tunnel vision, like I've said in this call, and I'm like, you know, super annoyed with myself. And so I want to share this with y'all because I want you to know, helping people take next steps wherever they're at, it all matters. And I think it really establishes trust in your business and will help you build a stronger business with more satisfied and raving customers in the long run. Okay? So this is where it gets a little fancy. So again, hang with me. The next 3 slides, I'm going to give you number stuff. So we said at the beginning of this call, our focus was to become 500 PV Emerald coaches and then learn to teach others. And so here's what happens when you have a 500 PV Emerald tribe. And so this person has learned how to be a 500 PV coach, and then they've sponsored 2 people that they've taught also how to be 500 PV coaches. And then that has gone down to 2 more levels. And so still this person is an Emerald coach at the top. But let's talk about what happens with their team cycle bonus. So you plus 2, when this person is an Emerald coach, and each person in that 3-person tribe is a 500 PV coach, then that's 3 cycles at $14 a piece. So that's $42 for the month, plus their commission from their own 500, or from what they've sold with customer volume. So that's 125 plus 42 is $167 for the month. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I think a lot of times we have a scenario, and I'm going to skip over here. We have a scenario that looks like this. We have an Emerald coach that has 90 PV, and they sign 2 people up that have 90 PV, and then that Emerald coach might start to wonder, like, where's the team cycle bonus, right? Like, what's happening? So I think what's happening here is that we're just, you know, product users, but we're not necessarily sharing and helping people take next steps and really letting that accumulate, right? So if you look at this other side over here, I want you to think about right now, which one are you, or which one are you closest to? So the person here that is a 500 PV coach and that has 2 coaches that are also 500 PV coaches, instead of making 0 on their commissions and on their on their team cycle bonuses, they're making $167. That's a big difference, right? From 0. So which one would you rather be? And I think if you're sitting on this call right now, we would all say we'd rather be the second one, the one on the right. And the way that you become that 500 PV coach and teach your coaches how to do the same is to help people take their next steps no matter where they're at in the process, offering them solutions based on where they're at. So I'm talking about this on a very small scale here. When that tribe of 3 becomes a tribe of like U+6, then you can see that your commissions go up to 265, and then when it happens again, goes up to 447. And so this is 15 coaches, but again, this person is an Emerald coach. So to make $447 as an Emerald coach on Team Cycle bonuses is great, right? The way that this plays out in the big picture, I'm not going to go into all of that tonight because really there is like a whole part 2 to this that I'm not going to go into. But when we talk about how this factors into how you move along as a coach, as an Emerald, if you're continuing to add coaches to your team and you have maybe a goal of becoming Diamond, then you want to consider making sure that the coaches that you're adding, you're also teaching them how to be 500 PV coaches. It makes a huge difference because when you simply just have an organization, you can be a Diamond coach. If everybody just has 90 PV, then you're just cycling $54. And so that can lead to frustration. And so the way that we fix that, the way that we change that is to build tribes of 500 PV coaches who are offering people one next step at a time. Okay? If y'all are interested in a second version of this call, I'd be happy to do it in one of the following weeks that really takes this and dives deeper into it. But I didn't want to, I know we're already going long, so I didn't want to go too heavily into that side of things. Really, I want the focus tonight to be about learning how to be a 500 PV coach and teaching your coaches how to do the same thing. So there are all kinds of ways to generate 500 PV. And this is 2 slides that I borrowed from elsewhere, but it does give a good rundown. Like you could literally have one person on Shakeology, one person with Daily Sunshine, one person trying a performance stack, one person with Ultimate Reset Digestion, one person with Derm Exclusive 3-day refresh, and then someone with All Access. So it doesn't just have to be the challenge packs, and it doesn't just have to be the Shakeology. Even though those are the best options, always be flexible and be able to recommend something that might be a better fit for somebody at that moment. Power greens are amazing. Digestive health. I realize every day I use power greens and digestive health in my shake. Every day. Have I shared that with my challenge group? Not till yesterday. And that's really disappointing. So I did a video and I talked to them about why I add those things into my shake. I talked about the ingredients on digestive health. There's one ingredient in it called psyllium husk that's not in Shakeology, and it really is one of those things that's a natural laxative. I learned something, they learned something, and I had some interest from the women in my group on power greens and digestive health just simply by sharing with them how I make my shake. And so I really think there are little things that we can all be doing just to help communicate and create some curiosity around these other awesome tools that we have. We don't need any more products right now. We have tons of products that meet tons of needs. We're just not leveraging them. And so if we go back to no customer left behind, I have a few questions that I've asked myself that I'm going to ask you. What new product do you need to try? Like maybe you haven't tried any of the boosts, or maybe you haven't tried Energize or the Derm Exclusive line, whatever. I would suggest picking one thing and trying it because part of our vital behavior is being a product of the product. So if all we know is Shakeology and challenge packs, then that's all we're going to talk about. So I just suggest that every so often you try something new. Number 2, what product have you already been using that you need to do a better job of creating curiosity around? Just like I just mentioned with digestive health. There are like Energize. Like I already know that I have been doing a poor job of talking about that when given the opportunity, or just creating, if you were at Summit, you heard Shalene talk about creating curiosity. I'm not talking about like post with you and you're energized and like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about creating curiosity in your conversations. You could post about it, but again, make sure that it is a post that creates curiosity and that doesn't just spill all the beans about what it is that you're doing or drinking. Number 3, what conversations do you need to restart based on what you learned tonight? So I know that there are so many customers right now that I can go back to and say, hey, I was thinking about our conversation and, I just kind of hated that you were ready to take a next step and I didn't present you with all of the options. Would you be open to listening to a few other options where I think we could totally get you started and take a next step? And then, who knows where that would lead. And so there's nothing stopping you from going back to people that you feel like you haven't been able to help yet and ask them if you can start over and just really get to the root of what it is that they need. Okay? So goal setting. I'm a goal setter, so I always have to have something concrete when I lead. So here's the deal. If you aren't a 500 plus PV enrolled coach, that's your goal. If you are a 500 plus PV enrolled coach, your goal is to continue to do that month after month after month. Teach your coaches how to be 500 PV coaches, enrolled coaches in their first 30 days. That's the goal, right? Because when we do that, we impact a whole lot of people. I know that I can help all the people that are in my circle, but your circle and my circle are different. And you're able to help people by sharing your story and getting to know their needs differently than I can and better than I can. So if we all can work together as a team and really just set out on this mission to say, you know what, there's going to be no customer left behind. And to remember that it's not just our customers, but our contacts that we are investing in. And so with all of that, I was going to read this quote and then I'll open it up for a few minutes for some questions. So this again is in Great by Choice. And it says, if you really want to become mediocre or get yourself killed in a turbulent environment, you want to be changing, morphing, leaping, transforming yourself all the time and in reaction to everything that hits you. And I know social media is so that way, right? Feel like we're constantly reacting to everything that's going on. And so we found in all our research studies that the signature of mediocrity is not an unwillingness to change. The signature of mediocrity is chronic inconsistency. So I think if we do these things and do them well over and over and over with passion, knowing why we're doing them, I think we can change a whole lot of lives together. It says, now last thing, they accomplish their huge goals by adhering with great discipline to what they know works while simultaneously worrying, for they always worry about what might no longer work in a changing environment. When conditions truly call for a change, they respond by amending the recipe. And so that's all we're doing here is making a small tweak that I feel like is going to make a big impact in your business and the people that you help. So with that being said, I'm going to stop my share here. And if you have questions, I would love for you to ask them. If you don't, then all is good. You'll have to unmute yourself. Let me go to the chat here. We want no customer left behind. Stephanie says, yes. So we meet them where they are. And I think really, just as human beings, that's what we're supposed to do, right? Good human beings help people where they are at. So good. All right. If you guys have questions, it might be better if you just ask them out loud. Okay, good. Well, I so hope that this was helpful. Um, I will have the recording up later this evening, so you're welcome to share it if you have people from your team that are not on. I would love it if we took a, can I take a picture? Let's see here. Hang on. I'm going to get the check out of the way. Close. Okay, I'm going to take your picture. So you got to smile, because there's nothing worse, right, than being in one of these pictures and you're the person going like that. Hang on. All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Got it. All right. All right, so remember, we're all part of the same team and we're walking away with the same vision, and we are going to go help as many people as possible, and there is no customer left behind. Love you guys. I will, I guess, see most of y'all online, but if not, I'll see you later. Bye.